We run businesses, we're primary parents, and we know the invisible load is real. Today we are breaking down scheduling, what works, what doesn't work, and what we protect at all costs.
Welcome to Realty Check, the podcast about the real lives of agents, lenders, and moms who do it all.
We're here for the honest conversations behind the business, the family, and everything in between. Let's get into it. Hey there, and welcome to Realty Check. I'm Lenny, your resident lender.
And hey there, I'm Amanda, your Sacramento area realtor. All right, Lenny, how is this week going? Are we thriving or crying?
Honestly, I feel like I'm a little bit of both.
Okay.
As per usual, but right now I'm feeling a little thriving. I got a reach out on Instagram from my college boyfriend's best friend's mom. And I know, deep cut.
That is, yes.
Deep cut. But it made me so happy to know that college me is leaving a good impression.
I love that.
And so this is just a reminder that, you know, even if and she follows my personal page. So even if I'm just posting about my family, you know, people seeing who I am as a real person and they're wanting to work with me, like that makes my heart feel so full.
That is such the best feeling.
What about you? Are you crying or thriving this week?
Oh, good Lord. Okay, as of the recording, we are less than a week to Christmas. Okay, so I know that we're sending this out in January, but as of this recording, we're less than a week from Christmas. And today is the last day of school for our kids before break. And not only is it last day of school, it is early release. It is free dress, and it is anything but a backpack day, because why would you not jam all of those things into one day right before Christmas break?
Right.
So this morning, I woke up with a crushing headache. I had to, I woke up and I was like, oh crap, it's like 30 minutes until school starts. I need to figure this out. And so I got Jackson, I had him pick out what he wanted to wear. I was not in any position to fight with him and tell him no to whatever he picked out. So he picked out like Christmas pajama bottoms.
Love it.
That we found out as we were getting into the car have a hole in them. But
iconic.
You know, by that time the gate was already open at school, and so I was like, forget it. You're gonna wear. You can go get it. I'm in the middle of something.
Parenting.
So as we were getting into the car, I realized that his pajama pants had a hole in them, and it was too late because the gate was already open and we had to get to school. And then he also chose for his free dress to wear a collared button-down Minecraft shirt.
You can't ask for a better duo.
I was just like, are you sure that you want to wear your Minecraft button-down with your pajama bottoms, your Christmas pajama bottoms that now we know have a hole in them? And he said, yes, this is
Are
what
you
I'm
sure
wear.
he's not trying to incept in you that he wants Minecraft for Christmas, you know, with that combination?
One of the things that he said as he was getting dressed is, I'm just missing Minecraft socks and Minecraft pants.
Oh, of course he did.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
Which I had a conversation with Santa earlier this week, and I believe that will be a stocking stuffer. Santa said that he can get him some Minecraft socks. So,
right on.
yeah, that'll be super exciting. Then not only was it free dress, but it was also anything but a backpack. Mm-hmm. So what did we choose? We chose his giant Minecraft laundry basket. And so we had to throw all of his school stuff in there. We made it to school on time, but I just, you know, it's one of those very much a parenting morning.
Is anything going to get done at school today?
No. Zero things.
Zero things are going to get done at school today. Today is a throwaway day, and it's a short day.
Yes.
Kids are in free dress, which our kids, they have like a loose dress code where they can't have any characters or anything on their clothes. And so the fact that kids are coming with their characters and things like that on their clothes today, that's a distraction. These baskets, I saw one kid brought a guitar case as their backpack today.
Yes.
I mean, one kid brought a sled. I mean, truly, they got very imaginative.
So creative.
Very creative. But yeah, no work's going to get done.
No. I might actually pick him up early because I have some showings in Folsom later today, and it's going to be a very tight schedule to pick him up because there's no after-school care, so everyone's going to be picking up at the same time. Mm-hmm. Pick him up, drop off at the grandparents' house, and make it to Folsom by the time that our first home tour is.
Well, you're doing it all. You're crying and you're thriving, and that's what that shows.
Okay, cheers to that. Cheers. Mm-hmm.
Amanda, what are we talking about today?
Okay. I know that we haven't picked like the title for the episode yet, but my running title right now is The Primary Parent's Guide to Running a Real Estate Business Without Losing Yourself.
I love it.
Which essentially means let's talk scheduling.
Yeah, truly, truly. I am someone who live and dies by my schedule. I say this to everyone, and I mean it not in a mean way, but if it is not on my schedule, it is not happening.
Yeah.
And so I know you and I do something similar and some things very differently. So I'm really excited to learn how both of us manage the chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there are some things that have to be done similar because even if I wanted, like I have my ideal of how I would like a calendar to look, and then I have what actually works. So, I mean, I guess the first thing that I was hoping we could talk about is the flexibility myth, because I think that a lot of people get into real estate thinking that it's a very flexible career. And while I'm not saying that it isn't flexible, I think what people think flexible means is not what it actually is.
Also, I take it as such a big compliment that people think that I have all this free time on my hands. I'm so glad that I make it look easy. I'm so glad that I made it look like my job is easy and that I have all this time that I can do things with. And sure, I get it, right? Like, I do have a career that allows me to do crossing guard in the morning on Thursdays. I do have a career that allows me to volunteer once a week for lunch. I have a career that allows me those things and allots me that time, but that also means I'm working 24/7.
Yes. Well, I think that people assume that flexible means easier when really it just means the ability to constantly adjust. So
I like how you worded that.
I think that having one of these quote unquote flexible careers as a primary parent is super important. I think that it would be incredibly hard to have a non-flexible job while raising kids. I don't quite know. I mean, I know.
Honestly, shout out to you if you're doing it. Seriously.
Truly. Like, that is amazing. But like, I think that for us, flexibility means, I'll give an example for me. Flexibility means that, yes, I sometimes get to take a nap in the middle of the day. It's true. And I am the one dropping off and picking up my kids every day from school. But it also means that when I was at Friendsgiving and my phone was blowing up because I was getting a counteroffer on an offer that I brought my laptop to Friendsgiving and then I set it up on the table away from everyone to review the counteroffer and send it over to my sellers in a timely fashion before going back to the party.
Absolutely. If you are a friend or family member who have traveled with me on a vacation before, you know that I have my laptop on me. And I have my VPN going so that I can keep working. Last December, I went to Mexico with some friends and my kid. And that meant that on the plane ride and while we're waiting for taxis or in the morning while everyone else is sleeping in, I am reviewing things. I am talking to clients. There was a time where we were literally on it's called Explore, and it was like an nighttime adventure theme park in Mexico. And I had to step back and go to the lockers real quick because I have a client that's in contract.
Yeah.
And the thing is, talking to that client affords me the ability to be able to go on these vacations.
Right.
Or even last week, I went to Denver on this magical train ride, and I get on the train, and I had all this work I'd planned out to do. And I was like, okay, I've been working throughout the trip, been really flexible. My grandma's been really flexible. But I was like, I have a 30-hour train ride while then on the train with my grandma, and they're all enclosed in one space and they can't run away. I'm going to get work done. I hop in that train and I ask for the Wi-Fi, and they say, oh, sorry, California Zephyr train has no Wi-Fi.
No.
In our industry, knowing for 30 hours you do not have Wi-Fi.
Oh no.
I felt frantic.
Do you have a hotspot on your phone?
I do, but we were in the mountains. There was nothing.
There was. Oh
There was like maybe every so often I would get spurts of service and I would get text messages and emails.
Yeah.
But then I couldn't respond to them because then I would lose service again. And
I'm having an anxiety for you thinking about being disconnected for 30 hours and having it not planned. Like, it's one thing if you told everyone, hey, I'm going to be, or like you have a signature or you have Lori looking out for you.
Yeah.
Like, because it's been planned ahead of time. Yeah. But for you to go AWOL for a day.
Yeah. And to be honest, it really hurt. And it was nice because it forced me to spend time with my family. Obviously, I needed that. But at the same time, I had a real estate agent refer me a client, and that client left me a voicemail. I didn't get the voicemail back until I got into Sacramento. No. And so by the time I tried calling them back, they haven't gotten back to me. And that's like a real thing about our industry is that we are not prompt and timely with our responses. They can easily find someone else.
Yeah, and the really sad thing, not the sad thing. Well, it's kind of sad. I don't know. It's I joke with agents who join me at EXP, and I'll say like, "Hey, like just know that everything will be dead quiet. You'll have a listing, you'll have a buyer, like things will be super quiet, and then as soon as family visits and is in town, or it's time for the holidays, or you have a trip planned, then all of the sudden." Everyone's going to want to see your listing. Everyone's going to want to put offers in. Your buyer is going to find the perfect house that they need to see and put an offer because it's going to be multiple offer situation. Like everything is going to happen at once. And I don't understand it, but for, that's flexibility too, is that your downtime is not the most ideal downtime.
No. And I don't know why that is either. I swear, Lori and I jokingly say when we're like, quote unquote, slow, we'll say we should plan a trip. Because as soon as you book a flight, as soon as you book a hotel, anything that resembles a trip, all of a sudden you're busy.
Yeah.
And so if you wonder why I prioritize my trips, it's because I prioritize business.
Because it helps you get more business.
But yeah, this myth of flexibility, I think this is a huge thing that if you're in this industry, you already understand. But if you're thinking about this industry, or if you're working with one of us and if you're friends with one of us and you think, oh man, they have so much downtime. Thank you so much, but no.
Anything else you want to say about flexibility?
I would say that with flexibility comes teaching these young kids what flexibility means too, and that's really tough. I have a 4-year-old, you have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. Yeah. And so trying to have them understand, like even when recording this, that like mom's got to get work done, and we are primary parent. Even when we're working, we are still primary parent. Yeah. That hat never comes off.
Yeah.
So we can be in the middle of a work thing, but our mom modes has to be on as well.
Yeah.
And so our kids having to understand that, hey, mom's picking you up at school, and guess what? We do pick up from school every single day. Mm-hmm. We are going to be there like clockwork. But the thing is, mom's going to pick you up, but we still have a phone call with a client at 2:30 that we have to get on. Mm-hmm. And so our kids, I feel like, are having to understand flexibility and understand business in a way that maybe other children aren't really grasping at this age.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate my son's ability and understanding to work with me, but also it's something that I struggle with as well.
110%. I picked my word for 2026 is going to be present. And I feel that part of that is because we have to be on when we're on, I'm connected to my phone a little bit too much. Yeah. And I need to figure out a way to put it away while I'm waiting. Because like, I don't know, it just feels, I have this anxiety when I'm waiting for something and I can't like focus on other things. It just like, that's when I deep clean my house, is when I'm waiting for a call, because that's like the only thing I can do to keep myself busy. But I just, if I'm waiting for something, a lot of times I'm on my phone instead of taking that opportunity to be present with my kids to then shift back to being present to my business when things hit the ground again. Yeah. So
that makes complete sense. My therapist and I have been talking about scheduled leisure. Okay. And so what that means, or scheduled, I guess in this way, it's scheduling being present, but during dinner, during bedtime, and during bath time, I do not have my phone on me. And so those are all like 30-minute to an hour increments in the evening, but those are increments, so 30 minutes each. But, when I'm eating dinner with Galloway, my phone is not with me.
Yeah.
When I am giving Galloway a bath, I do not have my phone on me.
Yeah.
When I'm putting him to bed and we're doing bedtime routine, I don't have my phone on me. And sure, I still struggle with the anxiety of what if someone's trying to reach me right now? What if someone needs me right now? But then I think about it. I'm like, it's 6 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock at night.
What's going to be able to happen anyway?
What's going to happen anyway? Escrow's
Escrow's
closed.
closed. Yep.
Escrow's closed. Which, escrow, I know that sounds crazy.
You run our life, escrow.
You run our life, escrow, because the thing is, like, if you can't respond to me, if you can't get something, then me stressing out about it, it's not going to do anything at this moment. And so telling myself, and my therapist really worked on this with me, is, scheduling this time of leisure and being like, you don't need your phone on your body for those moments. And that really, it struggles because I think of my phone as like an extra part of a body, an extra organ.
Yeah.
And so to separate it feels weird, but I've been trying to do that more. But yeah, it's tough.
I feel like this is a really good segue into what does your calendar look like? How do you manage your calendar? And what I know we've talked about how much we both despise the word time blocking. So like, what do you do instead, or what works for you?
Yeah. So I think I've talked to you about this before, but I live in calendar-wise. I have a calendar on my phone. I live and die by my Google Calendar. It is color-coded. And I've started using icons as well, which is really fun.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, I am the vice president of the Sacramento Real Estate Alliance group. And so that is an LGBT group. So for all meetings or events that I have in regards to that, I put a rainbow flag next to it. So it's yellow because my favorite color is yellow. So I color coordinate any activity for myself as yellow. So it's yellow with a rainbow flag. And so when I look at my calendar in the morning, I can see, what icons, what areas am I working on today? But other than those things, I do not time block my day.
Okay.
And but I do have things that need to get done, right? So what I do is I make a calendar and I put down everything with check marks of everything I need to do. And I put it out a few days ahead of time, so that if something needs to get done on a certain day, I have it on there. And
Can you show YouTube just like from afar? Like you don't have to show them what's on your list, but kind of like.
But it looks like this.
Check. So you have the date up here at the top, and then you have your check boxes of everything.
And I put it for a few days into the future, so that if I need something done, and if something doesn't get checked off, I can always go back to it and see, did I move that to the next day?
Yeah.
And so it's an ongoing task list. And another thing my therapist told me is, because I struggle with, maybe I didn't get anything done that day.
Yeah.
She says, nope, add it to the checklist as you finish it. And so even if it wasn't on the checklist at the beginning of the day, adding it to my checklist as something I completed makes me realize, oh crap, I did do a lot today.
Yeah.
And so
I love that.
So I've been doing this for my own tasks. These are like me tasks. But when it comes to my calendar, it's color-coded. It's on Google. And if you're my friend, this literally happened earlier this week. They were like, I thought we were having brunch on Sunday, because now I'm doing open house on Sunday. And I was like, it was not on my calendar. And she's like, I sent you I sent you an Instagram story saying Sunday brunch, ? And we never set a date or anything. And I was like, that is not a plan.
No.
And so,
so sorry.
And so I didn't put it on my calendar because I wasn't concrete.
Yeah.
And so
Is our dinner on Sunday in your calendar?
Our dinner on Sunday is in my calendar.
Okay, good.
So here's my thing, is I live and die on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, I'm not doing it. If it's not on my task list, it's probably not getting done.
Yeah.
And so are there things that maybe I know that other people in my industry, which maybe it works for them, mostly men, they say, you got to time block your entire day.
Yeah.
I make phone calls from this time to this time, and I do this from this time to this time. And I'm like, what a luxury. Because the thing is, I can say, sure, I'm going to make phone calls right now. But if an email comes in and it's urgent, am I going to ignore it for an hour because it's not in my time block? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And also, primary parents, we have to get groceries done. We have to get dishwashing done. We have to get laundry done.
We're the ones that get called by the school when the kid is in the office because they're not feeling well.
Are you going to time block picking up your child from the nurse? No. So no, time blocking doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
What do you do, Amanda?
Okay,
I know
so
it's kind of different.
I feel like we do some stuff similar, some stuff the same. I really, really, really love my paper calendar, but it is not feasible. I have come to the realization that I cannot live and die by a paper calendar because it has to be digital. It has to be on my phone. So I do use my Google Calendar quite a bit. I actually, this is part of what I want to be more intentional about and more present with in the upcoming year, is that I have like time blocked in my Google Calendar. It says like 4 to 7 is time blocked every single day for family time. And then 7 to 9, which is laughable because I have not gone to bed at 9 in a very long time. I've gone to bed sooner. I go to bed so early right now. I'm exhausted. It says me time. And I want to do a better job of, kind of like you said, having your phone away. I want to have a better job of being more present during those blocks. It doesn't mean that I'm not checking my phone, but maybe I'm not living on my phone.
Yeah.
You know, so then I am being more intentional about being with family. And it's not like a hard and fast rule, but it's like, these are my intentions. So I have blocks of intentions, I think is the best way to put it. And then I do use my Google Calendar for all of my engagements throughout the week. And then I just got, I think you would seriously love this paper calendar that I got for this year. So I'm going to show you. So the way it has the month. Okay, so just a month view. I'm showing YouTube as well as we go through this. But then every week is your week view here, but then this whole other side is just to-do lists.
That's cool.
So because I find, I'll show YouTube. You can see it's the calendar on this side and just to-do lists on this side. Because I find, like you, I have my notebook and it is a constant list. A constant list and notes is everything in here. And so instead of having a paper calendar, a notes calendar, and my Google Calendar, I'm trying to combine so that it's like calendar and notes and then my Google Calendar. And so that's kind of like, in a sense, my setup. But then as far as how I schedule everything, I call it energy time blocking. I don't know if I made up that word myself, but
it sounds catchy.
I
told you before in the last episode, I would join a cult that sounds like that. So
yeah. So the thing about the what I call energy blocking, is it's matching tasks with your known energy level. So like, I think that we know, and I guess another word would be like rhythms, knowing the rhythm of your day.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I know once 2 p.m. hits, I am not going to be very productive anymore. Like once the kids, so if I need to send emails, if I need to have creative energy towards anything, it has to happen in the AM. So I am going to block it for that energy when I know that I will have more energy in the AM to do big things like that. And it also is about prioritizing my to-do list and goals. So active clients are always top priority. Then upcoming clients are the next tier, and then everything else falls under that. And so it's kind of combining, and hopefully this is making sense, but it's kind of combining rhythms, energy, and priorities. And that's how I organize my day.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, that does.
Okay.
I have a question. I have a few questions.
Okay.
So I have to manage my calendar and my son's calendar. I don't have to worry about scheduling with another adult. How do you go about scheduling with Michael, your husband? How do you schedule, time for him to watch the kids so that you can do things? Do you share your Google Calendar with him? How does that all work for you?
Yeah. I feel like we're still figuring that out because before real estate, I was a stay-at-home mom for like 5 years. So we're used to, I don't know how else to say it than me taking the back seat. I don't know. But like if it's his work or whatever, then obviously it takes priority. But now what we've started to do is, first of all, understanding that I will take advantage of his time at home to schedule things for work. So, for example, home tours or open houses, I'll check with him. I'll be like, hey, do you have anything on your calendar for Sunday? And if he says no, then I'll schedule it. And then I'll send him, I'll actually do like 2 calendar invites. So I'll do mine, I'll have it on my calendar, what I'm doing. And then I'll put a calendar invite that I invite him to that says Michael has kids and what I'm going to be doing, so he knows why he has the kids. Because if I just invite him to like the open house, he's like, I don't understand why I'm invited to the open house. No, okay, no,
Bless his
okay.
heart.
Good Lord. Okay, so then I make a separate one. Michael has kids. There you go. That's yours.
Yeah.
Here's why, because I have an open house.
And I think that's why I started color coordinating when
And
I was...
do coordinate, yeah.
Yeah,
colors.
because when I was married, I would put things on the calendar and I would share it with him. And he would, if it was yellow, he would know, oh, that's not something I have to go to.
Yeah, that's smart.
And if it was pink or flamingo is what they call it in Google, if it was flamingo, then he would know, oh, this is something that's related, so maybe I do want to go to it. And if it's blue, that was a me and him thing, so that he knew that he was busy at that time. So that's how we managed it. Was it perfect? No, but it did give him a little bit more of an understanding of, you know, if it was my event or not his event.
Yeah.
But
I think that the other thing that's different about our 2 situations is
Yeah.
that, like, for my family,
yeah,
outside of work, the expectation is that we are home. And if we're not home, then there is a conversation about, hey, is it okay if I go out to dinner with my buddies on this day? Or is it okay if I go out to dinner with Lenny?
Yeah.
You know, we were thinking about this day. Does that work for your schedule? Did you have anything? So there's not, I feel like that's different than what your situation was.
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
that's why it makes it a little bit different for me of like, well, yeah, I mean, if he's not at his 9 to 5, which it's more like 6 to 4, but if he's not at his 6 to 4, then the expectation is that he's home. And if he's home, then that's likely a time that I can schedule something. And I just have to make sure that, you know, randomly we don't have something on each other's
very,
calendars.
very different than my situation was.
Yeah.
And so, and even now, you know, I will say it's different scheduling because I'm a newly single mom. I've been only doing this for a few months. And so getting this rhythm down and understanding what my availability is now as a single mom has been different too.
Yeah.
You know, I did have another body here, so I was able to do a lot more. And a lot of my business comes from engaging with other people, right?
Yes.
So I get a lot of business from networking, and I get a lot of business from social media, believe it or not. And so I know it sounds like I'm all, oh, Lenny's going to a bar, but it's like, no, I'm meeting up with other business owners in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And so that was something I loved doing on Wednesdays, but I can't do that anymore because I'm a single mom.
Yeah.
And so,
Or
like,
even working out, jiu-jitsu in the morning.
yeah, so I used to love going to go to jiu-jitsu, 10th Planet Sacramento. Shout out to them. I love you guys. I loved going to the 6 a.m. class because it was when I was sleeping, their dad was sleeping, and so I could sneak out while everyone else was asleep. I could work out. I could come back home by 7 o'clock because it was literally down the street from my house. I could get everyone dressed, get everyone fed, and get everyone out to where they needed to be still. And so it didn't interrupt anyone's schedule. And so I didn't realize that I would be losing that without having another adult in the house, because now I can't leave a 4-year-old at home alone for an hour. And so I just haven't been working out. And so I'm still figuring out how to get my routine down and my rhythm down. And I do need to prioritize working out, but also I don't want working out to take away from the time that I'm working.
Yeah.
Because again, after the kids get out at 2 o'clock, we all know that we're not going to be able to do as much.
Yeah.
And so we are trying to fit as best as we can 8 hours of work into like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And so that's truly it. And so,
And that's why it gets so frustrating too when things are not productive in those days when the kids are at school. Well, she's not in school yet. Soon. Counting down. No one's counting down the months. No, not over here. And that'll help with podcasting too. No, but it's so frustrating to me when I'm just like staring at my computer from 10 to 2 and I'm like, if I could only get the things that I need in my inbox, I can move this forward in a time. But no, it usually comes at like 2:30 or 3 when the house is already pure chaos.
And you and I have talked about this before. I'm really big on hot potato.
Yes.
So as soon as something comes into my inbox, I want it out of my inbox and off of me as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because as a real estate agent, you'll know this, the loan can sometimes hold up the entire process.
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to think, oh, we're waiting on Lenny. I don't want those words to ever be uttered out of somebody's house.
Yeah.
And so if you've ever worked with me, you'll know that I am fighting my damnness to get you clear to close as quickly as possible. I am prepping the client to let them know that, hey, once we're in contract, we are moving, we are grooving. Because the thing is, even if you don't want to close in 8 days, at least you have that clear to close, so then you can finish your negotiations and you can, close early if you want to, or you can just relax and know the loan is the last thing on your like to-do list that you need to think about.
Yes.
But it's just, I get so anxious of people waiting on me. But it does become frustrating, like you said, once I've sent these out. And now I'm like, hey, I need the CPL or I need the updated evidence of insurance. And I'm stuck just waiting. Like I sent an email out to AAA about getting an updated mortgagee clause for a client who's refinancing their house. And they said, thank you for your submission. We will respond in 1 to 2 business days. And I sent it out on a Thursday. So does that mean you're not going to give it to me till Monday? Cool. And so then
Must be nice.
Must be so nice. And I'm like, ugh.
But I think this is a good time to pop in to talk to those who are listening who are not in our industry of the lender that you pick matters. Because if you go with a bank as your lender and they don't work on the weekends, it can slow down the process so much. And as an agent, to not have access to it, like for you, I know that we're like friends too. And, obviously I can call you anytime, day or night, but you were my lender first, essentially. And when you were solely my lender and we were just getting to know each other as friends, I knew you would respond any time of the evening or on the weekend, or when I had questions about our transactions, you were fast and you were responding to our clients and you were doing that. And that's things, again, your lender matters because there are so many companies and even individual lenders that are unresponsive or slow to respond.
I feel in my mind that unresponsiveness can let anxiety fester. So I think of if you're asking me a question, if you're an agent or a client asking me a question about something, or a past client who's asking me a question and you're not getting a response, your brain is spinning. Your brain is wondering what if. You're going to start going down a TikTok, Google rabbit hole.
Yes, trying to find the answer yourself.
Trying to find the answer, and you're going to get 7 different answers. And none are going to be the correct ones because no one knows your individualized situation.
Yeah.
And so what benefit does that do for me if I'm making my client have anxiety?
Yeah.
None. And so, do I have a client that messaged me at like 7 o'clock the other night asking me, about 203K loans, rehab loans? Yeah. Did I respond? Yeah. Why? Because I'd rather answer her before she's doom scrolling at night.
Yeah.
And so I selfishly, I'm saving myself heartache from making my client have anxiety.
This is where you and I differ a little bit because I utilize my do not disturb, and after about 8, sometimes even earlier, I'll turn on do not disturb and I will not respond to things from my clients until the morning.
Yeah.
And that's more to protect my own peace. Because here's my thing. Nothing is going to get done. Once we hit 7 p.m., nothing's going to get done. So, and I hear what you're saying about giving them information so they don't doom scroll, but I don't know. That's just one thing for me. I just kind of protect my peace of I'll get to this in the morning.
I will tell you, 75% of the time, I'm in bed asleep by 8 o'clock, unless I'm working late.
Yeah.
Sometimes I work late. So if something happens throughout the day, so let's say 2 p.m. rolls around, my kid's having a crap day, I am going to work in the evening. I am going to then possibly working till 11 o'clock at night, just getting my everything ready for the next day. And if that's happening, I'm staying awake. And if a client messages me during that time, I'll respond because I'm awake. But if I am asleep, I am asleep.
Yeah.
I go to sleep very early. I am an early bird person. I wake up at like 5 a.m. And so I like to go to sleep early. But yeah, I guess I could protect my peace a little bit better. But at the same time, I consider the fact that my clients aren't anxious and angry
as part of
my piece. Yeah. And so, and I think that's great that you and I have different ways of handling it.
Yeah. If we all handled our businesses the same, that would be boring, right?
It would be absolutely boring. And the thing is,
it shows that you can have different personalities and this can still work for you.
Absolutely. And I know there's lenders out there that do a phenomenal job and they do not respond on the weekends. And I love that for them. It just doesn't work for me and who my clientele are.
Yeah.
Because again, the majority of my clientele are people like us.
Yeah.
They're working parents. They're young millennials who are buying their first house. Yeah. And those are all people who love going on TikTok, love going on Reddit, love doom scrolling. And so I know them. I know them because they are like me. They are going to search for the answers. I'm the person who's going to figure out how to build a desk before I buy one.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's how I protect my
But on the flip side, like for me, if I'm working with a client that is a family with young kids, I have no problem texting them in the 6 o'clock hour because I know they're not sleeping because none of us parents with small kids are sleeping. And so, it's like, it's definitely, but this also kind of brings me into picking clients that match your energy.
Ooh.
Because I think that, and I've experienced this before, and I think that it's really important that through my onboarding process, and I make sure that I am the best agent fit for these clients because, for example, I've had clients before. Actually had it recently, so I'm not really good at figuring out the best way.
Because you as a real estate agent, you hire your clients essentially.
Yeah, to an extent. Well, or I have to make sure that they are being fully supported in the best way possible. So, for example, I've had a couple of clients now that they don't start communicating with me until like 7 p.m. and then they stay up until like 2 a.m. Well, that doesn't work because then we have like an hour of overlap. And then if I have to get on a Zoom call and it's a 2-hour Zoom call at 8 p.m., I'm not giving them my best self. It has to be a discussion of, can we make this work? Like, am I the best fit for you? Or do you need an agent who is a night owl and can have these important conversations with you at night versus like, for me, if we can't have it by 4 or 5 p.m., it's probably not going to be a very productive conversation on my end.
Yeah.
So just having clients that match energy can be, and also that understand. So a lot of my clients are families, and they are clients that have kids, and they understand that I'm going to have the 4-year-old making noise in the background. It might sound like there are screaming banshees that prefer text over calls, which is fantastic for me because I can text while they're screaming in the background. Phone calls, it's going to be a little bit harder, and I think that it's just like this ecosystem. I don't know, of like attraction, and like you gotta get with clients, and maybe this is more important as an agent than it would be for a lender. I'd be curious your thoughts. Like, tell me, how important is it for you as a lender to have clients that match your energy?
I definitely have intentionality with who I am trying to attract as a client. But as someone working in the financial sector, I cannot choose my client.
Oh, right.
I can't.
But, okay, let me ask you this. Because I get not being able to choose your client, but if you're talking to someone and you find out that they're a night owl and you have a client that's only going to communicate between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m., can you have that conversation with you of like, I'm here for you, I will be your lender, but I want you to understand
absolutely.
This is how I operate, and if you want a lender who operates different on this front, I'm happy to refer you out or help you find someone who's a better match.
Somewhat similarly, I had a conversation with a client, and I always tell people in the first phone call with a client, I am intentional with making sure that my child is nowhere near. I want to make sure that my client has my full attention, that my child is not being a banshee in the background for my first phone call.
Yes.
But at the end of the phone call, I always state, hey, this is my direct cell. You can call or text me here anytime. Just know my kiddo might be with me when you call, so just be prepared. I had someone tell me, well, I really don't want other people hearing our conversations. And I said,
Sorry.
No, that's what they told me. And I get it.
I don't mean to laugh.
But, like,
that's fair for them.
It's fair for them. This is your financial information.
I laugh at the 4-year-old being the one that's overhearing, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was like, I get it. I said, if that is important to you, I think that texting and email would probably work best for our communication. Or if you would like a set phone call, we'll have to schedule it rather than you calling me at any time.
Yeah.
And so I've had that conversation with a client before. And they were like, oh, okay, well, when I call, is it just your son? And I'm like, usually.
Can't guarantee that.
Yeah, but if you call me and I'm at the grocery store, since I know that this is important to you, I'll let you know where I'm at and if anyone's around.
Yeah.
And so I try and be really intentional with my clients. Now, if you're talking to me, I'm not going to have you on speakerphone while I'm in public, But
Right.
still, like, if that's something important to you, and that's why I always, on our first phone call, I always state, you can call or text me here anytime, but just know that if you call me, I might have my kiddo with me. And so I think that's how I handle it. I've never had a client tell me that, I have had clients that work swing shifts or things like that. But again, I wake up really early. So if they're,
it works out.
It works out. So I've had a client that we have phone calls at 5 a.m.
Okay.
And that was fine with me. My child's still asleep and it was just copacetic with my lifestyle. But I think being really intentional with setting our boundaries is really important in our industry, not only as individuals in real estate, but also as parents. Yeah. And so I always set those boundaries and those expectations to what I need and what they need. And luckily, I've only had one client in my life that I've decided that I couldn't be a good fit for them. And I referred them to someone I thought was a better fit, and it was a better fit for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really have the opportunity of firing a client or things like that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But I think this also leads into another topic that I wanted to touch on, which is how bringing it all together, having those expectations, having those boundaries, being the primary parent, being having to be flexible. There are times when our kids have to be tag-alongs.
Yeah.
That is the season of life that we are in as primary parents and business owners. And so what is that like? You've kind of already touched on it a little bit as far as, first convo with a client, you prioritize and you make sure. I'm very similar. I try, I usually do, sometimes I have like a 10-minute phone call and then we schedule a longer Zoom call, a longer video call. And for the video chat, that's the one that I try to make sure that there are no children distracting and around for that.
That's when I have the TV PBS babysitter on.
There you go. Yeah.
So.
For sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. The screens are good babysitters when needed.
Yeah.
But then other than that, then I tell my clients, hey, my little assistants might be with me from time to time, and we have that conversation. And then, when touring, there are times that I do have my kids come along. I try not to. I try to prioritize not having them because it's easier, like say for touring a home, I can check the HVAC, I can look for water damage and stuff, things that I'm not an expert in, but I know how to spot and just point out that
you're just enough dangerous.
Just enough dangerous. That sometimes it's a little bit harder for me to do that when I have a tag along.
Sure.
But there are other times that, say, my clients have to bring their kids, and then me being there or me having my kids there is actually better because then the parents can tour the property and get a feel for if they like it, and I can focus on the kids, all of the kids.
Yeah.
And then my chance to look a little bit more closely might be in the inspection period.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious how that works for you.
See, I think this is where real estate and lending kind of diverge.
Okay.
A lot of your work is in person.
True.
I would say since COVID, I do not meet a majority of my clients in person.
Yeah.
And a majority.
Yeah.
And so, obviously I have the few and far between that want to meet in person, which I love meeting in person. Mm-hmm. If you live locally, even if you live in my hometown, I will be the first to say, do you want to grab coffee? Because I love a coffee date. I'll have you fill out the application beforehand. You and I will go and get coffee. I try my best to schedule coffee when my child is in school or they're with their dad or something. But, there have been times where I have had to bring him to things. And you know what? He does really well.
Yeah.
And I always let people know ahead of time, right? Like same as you. But I would say majority of the time, I don't have to do things like in person. It's mostly over the phone.
So I think that it's really easy for people to think that having kids is a deficit. And
No, not at all.
But here's what I wanted, my point being that I think this is where you and I use kids as our strength, because like for lead generation and finding new clients, a lot of times we kind of utilize, I don't want to say we use our kids, but like we use these things that we have to do with our kids' involvement as a way to make those relationships that then bring in business.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think this is, as a whole could be a whole nother podcast episode.
I think we will make it a podcast episode,
but, I am heavily involved with my child. I sponsored and coached their T-ball team. Like I said, I volunteer at the school. I'm doing all these things, and a majority of my clients come from either social media, like I said, networking, which I consider that networking.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's weird of me, but I don't do things I don't like doing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be the person begrudgingly going to a happy hour. If I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If I'm doing something that I don't like, I'm attracting people I don't like.
Yeah.
And so I am doing things that I know are going to attract people that I like, that I get along with, that fit the vibe, that are going to go with the vibe check.
Yeah.
And so going and volunteering at T-ball or volunteering at the school or, things like that, it not only is it building trust in my community and like, does my child like give us an instant connection, but I feel like it's showing them that not only am I talking the talk, but I'm walking the walk, right?
Yeah.
So I've never thought of having a child as a deficit. Obviously it's different. I think who I am as a mortgage professional is very different than if I didn't have a child. Very different. But I don't think it as a bad thing. I see myself as more resilient and stronger since having a child than before.
Yeah.
And so I don't think I would be as successful in this industry if it wasn't for being a parent either.
Yeah. There was one more thing that I wanted to talk about for this podcast. And I think that this kind of, again, thank you for all the lead-ins. You keep leading me right into like my next like thought process that I want to talk about. But I feel like this kind of leads into having the right team too. Right? So like whether that's like for me, whether that's the transaction coordinator that I use, the preferred lenders that I refer my clients. Now, as an agent, clients get to pick their lender.
Absolutely.
And I've worked with many different lenders, and I have a few preferred lenders that I will refer clients to, just depending on the situation. Just like I know you have a couple of preferred agents that you refer to, and also you have to work with whatever agent your client chooses. But just making sure that my team that I surround myself with helps make my life easier, and helps make scheduling easier, and helps make the process easier for myself and my clients.
Yeah.
Like for me, I feel like, or for you, I mean, I feel like your relationship with Lori, like you guys have like such a symbiotic relationship. One brain.
It's hilarious. Lori and I will be texting, and
Lori is her broker.
Yes, Lori is my broker.
Yeah.
So I'm with Hawkins Home Loans. Lori Hawkins is my broker. She's phenomenal. We've been working as a team since 2020 now. We've been working together for so long, but not only working together, we've gotten to understand each other at a really deep level. So picking up where the other one drops off, or just like even finishing each other's sentences. Sometimes I'll text her something and like she will text me back angrily saying, I was just gonna text you about this. And so having someone that I can work with like that is vital. I was just telling Laura this the other day, but I had a mortgage company reach out to me via text, and they asked me about joining their team. They're like, oh, well, we'll only charge you this much for on top of your commission, and this much this, and you're gonna save this much money. And I didn't respond. And they were texting me again. They were like, do you not like money? Do you want money left on the table? And I was like, hey, I think what you have, what did I exactly say? I wish I had the text up. But I said, hey, I think what you're offering sounds great for someone else. I said, but personally, I have an amazing broker that I can come to with any question I have. I can cover my stuff when I'm busy. I said, if I'm on vacation, she picks up for me. If she's on vacation, I can pick up for her. I have someone that I can lean on and get instant answers from, or instant support from. Is that something that your company can offer?
Did they respond?
And they said, it sounds like you have a really good fit. And I said, thanks, I do. And so I think a lot of people think about money in the sense of an end-all be-all. But my question to that is, to what end? To the end of your sanity? To the end of the quality? Because I would rather take good quality and sanity over a few extra dollars any day. Yeah. But then on top of it, 0 times 2 is still 0.
Yeah.
So if I'm not offering the best quality for my clients, they're not going to work with me.
Yep.
And so if I switch brokerages and my interest rates are now higher and my production is now slower, how is that a benefit to the client or to me?
Yeah.
And so I think choosing your team is vital to our industry. I mean, not only wanted, but needed. I mean, if you do not have a good team or a good system behind you, you are not going to get anything done in our industry.
Yeah.
And so if you're someone who's even considering going into mortgage or real estate, I would say finding the right support is more important than even passing the test.
Yeah. Like that, again, that could be its own podcast episode.
Yeah.
Talking about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that scheduling and what we do may not work for you. Obviously, we've talked about how we do things completely differently, and I think that's completely okay too. So I think the key to it is finding what works for you and then doing it. Because if you're gonna buy or do something that's not gonna work for you, it's not gonna work for you.
Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to touch on when it comes to scheduling?
No, I think that's it. I mean, truly, I learn so much from you every single time we chat. And what's funny is she and I just chatted on the phone for a whole hour yesterday. I mean,
and a whole hour like 2 days before that.
Yeah, we talk a lot, and I think finding really good support. I was just thinking this the other day. Lori was telling me that when a few years ago, probably like 7 years ago, she used to have a group called the Power Bitches, which I fucking love that name. I may steal it. And it was 6 mortgage loan officers and brokers, all within the same industry, all doing the same exact career, but instead of seeing each other as competition, they saw each other as support.
Yes.
And they met monthly to talk about the real shit, like the nitty gritty, the highs, the very lows of our industry, and having that support. And so I think that what I'm doing now for my schedule may work, but in a different season of life, it may be a completely different thing.
110%.
And so the only way I'm going to learn how to get better is if I continue to talk to others. And so I think that when you find your scheduling thing, share it with others.
Yeah.
And when you have a scheduling thing that doesn't work, talk to others. Either way, talk to others, because you'll figure out how to make this work for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I have 5 takeaways.
Nice. I love it.
Is that okay? Can I share? Okay.
Please.
Well, you just touched on the first one. Real estate can meet you in your season of life, but you need to build systems with you in mind.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's a good one. Focusing on your energy is more important than focusing on your schedule and giving yourself to work with rhythms, whether that's rhythms in season of life or rhythms throughout the day.
Yeah.
Also, like school zone rhythms and summertime rhythms.
Or, sorry to be TMI, but as a woman who's still full-fledged in her, moon cycle, if the week before my period starts, maybe I have completely different energy than the other weeks. And so those are things to consider too.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, and then another takeaway, you don't have to remove yourself as mom to be professional.
Nope, we do not.
People that you work with behind the scenes are your lifeline, and build that circle intentionally.
Yes.
And then the last takeaway that I wanted to note is you're allowed to ask for help and you're allowed to outsource support. It's not a luxury, it's leverage.
Oh, bread and butter. Literally last night. So I live and die by all of those things.
Yeah.
So lean on your community, lean on us. We want to be your community. So, as per usual, we're going to be here for you. Amanda, what are we talking about next time?
Oh, that's a great question. I didn't write it down. Do you have it written down?
Hold on. Let me pull it up.
And I will say, I understand that these beginning podcast episodes are a little bit more chaotic. You and I are figuring out our groove.
Absolutely.
And I still have a child at home that decides that she doesn't like to play in the other room while we're recording. And for anyone who does stick around, you guys will be able to say that you were here in the OG season when things were a little chaotic. And then don't worry, though, we will continue to grow and become more professional as time goes on.
Amanda.
Yes.
What are we talking about next time?
We are going to dive into branding, especially with the new year starting. Let's talk about how, as a business owner, we figure out our brand and how we can shift that brand during different seasons of life. How does that sound?
I would love to talk about it because I'm actually going through a switch in seasons of life. So talking about branding is really timely.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait. And until then, y'all have a good one.
Thanks.
That's Realty Check.
Real lives, real estate, and the conversations most people do not want to have.
We'll talk soon.